What's going on, everyone? Welcome. This is the Warehouse Series. So before we get to today's video, I just want to say that if you are a freezer selector, if you could instant message me over on Discord and give me some ideas. I want to do a video just for freezer selectors. This was under one of my videos. They said, can you do a freezer video? I don't work in the freezer, but I got some very great freezer workers over in Discord. So if you guys could start messaging me stuff like, is there certain blocks that don't work? Is there, two cases that match up with another case, things like that, guys, things in the freezer that you would only know and I'm not going to know. Is there a certain, things that you don't want to stack on because it'll crush, or, how do you, just all your little techniques that you use in the freezer that maybe do not apply to, throwing in perishable and dry. So if you guys could do that, I really appreciate it. And I will get that video going. Guys, I also added PayPal to a way to donate. People out of the country, out of the United States, were saying they couldn't donate to Venmo, and I didn't realize it was just in the United States. So if you want to donate through PayPal, you can do that as well. Join Discord, link in the description below. Let's get to the first picture today. All right, guys, speaking of freezer, here's a freezer picture here. Someone posted this, and we do get these cross-docked up at our perishable building from our freezer warehouse, and stacking on ice. Someone did comment on this, and you built such a great pallet. I mean, with the ice cream in the back, you kept things separate. You want all your ice cream together, and then you, I should say these size ice creams, because you got a few ice creams over here. But stacking on ice, I cannot see it being easy. But guys, look at the basics. All right, so I just said send me some ideas, and I could see basics already. High corner, low inside. High corner, low inside. Big cases pointing in. We do run cases this way in this part of the pallet that I don't like, but is it something that is necessary in freezer? I don't know, but we're still sticking to the basics, keeping light cases together. And I mean, you could see the end result. This just came out beautiful. Now, one thing I did learn about freezer is that these cases are frozen. They're like bricks. So a lot of these cases that I at first, when I first started this YouTube channel, was saying, don't turn cases on their sides. Well, you can get away with turning cases on their sides and even upright probably in the freezer. But these two pallets are perfectly done. Thank you for posting your work. And if you are a freezer worker, I highly recommend coming to Discord. All right, we have a freezer section over there to talk about, and you guys could bring over new selectors, come over and start discussing with these guys, because they will help you. All right, guys, these next couple pictures are the same person. Only a few things I want to say. One, your pallets are nice and square. You have a nice solid base. And I saw Cole Wolf pointed out a couple things that I'm going to reiterate. I don't agree with the jars on their sides. I don't agree with any liquids or any glass on their sides at all. So you're in that thing of don't fit, don't force a type mentality that I teach on this channel. That don't fit. If you turned it the other way and it didn't fit, then you forced it, is what happened. When you turn jars on their sides, that's forcing a product in there that shouldn't be in there. I just strongly disagree with putting glass on their sides. With that being said, though, I mean, we were just a really nice looking pallet here. You're still building good. I just see a few things. And even just putting the salad dressing upside down, to me, you're at the top of the pallet. Just make sure it's upright. Guys, it doesn't take much for manufacturer that not properly put a lid on. I have said this in the past on my videos previously that it happens. I have seen product leak. I was just telling a story the other day. Someone told me yesterday they got bleach smashed all over them. I remember there was a cap missing off one of the bleaches. Now, this was about maybe 16, 17 years ago. And I went to go put that bleach on the pallet. It was one of my first cases. And I was probably this far off the pallet and I dropped it. Well, there was no cap on the bleach and it shot up right in my eye. I had to flush my eyes out for like 25 minutes. So it happens, guys. There is product that comes with no caps. I'm telling you, as much as you see crappy pallets on here, there's people that don't care how this stuff's packaged at the warehouse. If it's missing a cap, they're like, whatever, and they push it through. So keep liquids upright. All right, like I said, this is another one of your things. We got a bunch of cases on their sides here. Now, all I want to say is if these are cans, that's fine. We're wrapped up, and if they're cans, so I told you sometimes you have to revert to, I just don't want this column to rock into this column, so I'm going to wedge some cases in here. But once again, I think Cole Wolf pointed this out. These look like jars. Glass jars, I would definitely not put on their sides. But if I'm trying to wedge something between one column to the next, If you have to, put some cans in there. I still recommend not to, but definitely cans over jars. I would never put jars on, because if you go to this applesauce or this whatever this is up here, most of this is on this back corner. It's not resting on this. So we're going to be good. We're not putting weight on there. Other than that, man, once again, your bases are looking great, and that is all the palate. Once you get those bases, you could call them stack. The only thing I want to say to your back palate, those Arizona teas, if I only get 2 Arizona teas, I try to keep them side by side. I don't want them going across the back of my palate because they're flimsy cases, and you're really going to find some, it's just going to be harder to stack on. So what I would have done is just move this water out right here and maybe put them side by side if it would have fit. I don't like putting 2 just across the back like that. I want them to be more solid cases. All right, guys, once again, another one of your pictures. I forget who the username was, but once again, you're building really good pallets. Once again, great base. Level at all cost. I think Coldwell actually circled this as well. I disagree with it. I disagree with putting cans sideways because we have a lot of weight on these cans. Guys, it doesn't take much for an aluminum can to crush. So if someone buys this and the cans are all crushed, they're going to return it. I mean, I'm not drinking it, because I'm going to think it was damaged. So what it looks like at the warehouse could be a whole different story of what it looks like once it reaches the store. Once this goes on the truck ride, it could be an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. These may be crushed. You don't know. So I like to keep my cans upright. If I get these cans early in my order and they are not working, I'm throwing them on my jack. I'm throwing them up to the highest point on my pallet. I'm going to worry about them at a later time, and I'm going to put another case down here, something different. But other than that, you have the stacking down. You're wrapping when needed, and you're doing a great job. And once you establish that base, you can call them stack, and you can see this person did exactly that. All right, guys, another one here we want to look at. It's just be simple. All right, I love the cases spaced out down here. We kept these cases together, high corner, low inside. We call them stacked a little bit in the middle. That's what I do, and point cases inwards. I mean, you're not too far off of how I would build this pallet. We got a slight rock, a high to a low on the inside here, but look, we get level again because we kept our corner nice and level, left the inside high or lower. If the inside was higher, then this still would have been an issue. You did this really well. I mean, honestly, with the product that I'm looking at right here, your base is really nicely done. And you guys see the concept? Case is pointing in with the middle column. You did this almost exactly how I would do it. A very nice job. All right, this one here I want to look at. Now, we got some columns going on here, and you did say you call them stacked. But look, we're tied. So you got a nice base here, and then we're tied in. This whole side of the pallet is actually really nice because we're pointing cases in, and you have 2 towers right here, which is great because we have a nice solid corner to stack on. We're not going anywhere. Right here in the middle, we have this is tied from one case to the next, and you put a column straight up. Once again, it's not that big of a deal. Now over here, we got a little bit of a rocker, but you did the right thing. These cases pointing in is saving this corner. If you ran these 1, 2, 3, 4 cases go in the same direction as these 2, we would have a problem. That corner probably would have fell over. But what I like to explain on here, when you hang cases into a gap, that is tying in. Why is that tying in? Because you're taking weight from the corner and you're sticking it in this gap right now. So when we have all this weight and you keep going in that direction, you don't want to go back. Just keep bringing the weight in this direction. So that even though it's just a little bit, it's enough to keep that corner from rocking out too much. And once again, guys, just one thing of wrap around the middle of this if you have wrap machines, and you're going to be perfectly fine. It is actually a great looking pallet. All right, guys, this dairy pallet I really like, and I'll tell you why I like it. First of all, anytime someone posts pictures on plastic pallets, I immediately start looking in the background and I start seeing, is that all you're allowed to use? And it looks like we got plastic pallets everywhere because I always say that I would rather use wood than plastic because the surface area is smaller on plastic. But if you have to use plastic, this is how you want to stack, all right? Because this is what people don't get, is your product comes in on wood and you're stacking on plastic. You keep the block the same. And then when your cases don't fit on the plastic pallet, what do? You start turning cases upside down. to try to wedge them in so they fit better because of the way these are triangular almost. And it doesn't work that way, guys. Just make less of a block like this person did right here. Don't turn cases upside down. Make your own block on the pallet and, you know, separate cases, leave gaps if you have to. I love whoever posted this picture, because thank you for not turning your liquids upside down and just spacing out your base. This is 1000% how I would build this pallet if I had to build it on a plastic pallet. Great job. So for newer selectors, you can either do this, which there's no doubt I would tie in the top of this pallet as well. Or once you got all these cheeses, these shredded cheeses on top of the almond breezes, you could have column stacked them straight up for a faster, easier way. But it looks better whenever it's tied in like that. And whoever did this is really particular on how they build. But if you're looking for incentive money, build a base like this. Nice solid base with your almond breeze, and it looks like we have a slip sheet, which is great because it's tough to stack on these. And then you can column stack the rest of these cheeses, get done real quick, and probably save about 7 to 10 minutes on it by not tying in every layer. All right, guys, on to the carts that we were looking at. So these carts look like they have 3 wheels on them. It looks like you push them around. It looks like they're not on your jack. So you have room. It's basically a column stack type of thing is what I'm trying to picture. If I worked with these carts, how would I do it? And I would do the same thing. So right here, it looks like we're not all the way out to the edge of the cart. So just same as the pallet, you want to make sure you're all the way to the edge of the pallet. You want to utilize the whole thing. So honestly, this wouldn't look so bad with you hanging off if this case was spaced out over here. So, and you're not all the way to the end of the cart. So utilize that entire cart. Unless there has to be room for the netting on the side, I have no idea. But me personally, I would move this all the way out because you already got a limited space. It's not like you could venture out a little bit because you got ends on your cart. So make sure you're utilizing the whole entire base of that cart. By separating these cases. It's okay to have some gaps in your bases. But other than that, I don't know what, you're probably going to get forced to put more cases on their sides in these carts than we would on pallets. I like how you just throw these, whatever this stuff is up here in the corner. But you're not doing a bad job. You're doing this pretty well. So the one thing I do want to say is if you do want to keep like cases together, and these big cases, so still keep that same concept of having bigger cases, bigger, stronger cases on the corners of these pallets with smaller cases in the middle. So let's take a look at your next couple pictures and see if we can help you out a little bit more. All right, your dog food order you did perfectly great. I mean, this is really nice. You did a really nice job, and I really like how you did this. And I just noticed the backs of the carts. So are you just selecting from one side only? So I guess maybe you're going up one side of the aisle and down the other, and you're always selecting from this side. So you're building from the far side over is what it looks like. But your dog food, you did a great job on. So let's take a look at the last picture that you had. So one thing I want to say is part of building your system. So see how we got this slope coming down? It's knowing how many cases. So start trying to get an idea, because I would imagine you're throwing a lot of similar cases. And also, guys, the tidy cats, I tell you on pallets that don't lay them down because the product could slide off. I think it's a really bad thing. Well, I think it's really good to lay these down on these carts because we got 3 sides of this cart closed in, so we're not going to have to worry about the tidy cat sliding off. So my thing is the slope down is always worrying about that high corner to low inside. But your system with these carts is learning how many cases are on the carts. So I don't know if you have a headset or if you have stickers and it tells you how many cases that you're going to have for your order. But if I'm having an order like this, and I'm going to guess real quick, probably about, we'll say about 40 cases. Let's say we have about 40 cases on this cart. So if I get an order and I have a headset or if I have stickers and I see it has 40 cases, I know it's going to be about this high. So I'm not going to care if I have that slope going towards the outside of my cart, because this is the order I'm trying to throw real quick and get done. Now, I'm curious if you can comment in the comment section below, whoever posted these pictures, do you have incentives at your warehouse? Is the standards easy to make and stuff like that? But this is definitely an order that you can make your standards really quick on by knowing the case count. So with this, it's not so much the cube. I would worry about that case count. So with your dog food pallet that you had, It looks like you probably have about 60 bags on here. I'm just guessing right offhand. So if I know if I have 60 bags of dog food, I know I'm going to be a full cart, so stuff like that. So same with your other picture that we looked at. Start loading the boxes. How many cases go on these carts? So count them, or there should be a count on your stickers or on your head label. How many cases do you have? So if I have 85 cases, I know I'm getting a full cart. I need to take a little bit more time with that cart to make sure that I'm stacking cases a little bit more properly. But if I have 40 cases, I'm not going to care as much. I'm going to move a little bit faster through it, and I'm not going to care about, am I going to get all these cases inside the cart? So I hope that helped everybody today, especially with the carts. Keep posting more pictures and let me know if, to get into that routine. That should be your system, counting those cases, knowing exactly how many cases fit on a cart, because to me, it's going to be a big game changer for you. Guys, that's it for right now. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.